Dear viewers of the Tom Photo channel, all these photographs of dropping water were made with the same light. Not an expensive studio lamp, not a solution only professionals can afford, but something accessible and small enough to fit into a pocket. I used a cool new tool and I'm pretty excited to tell you about it. Cameras gain features, lenses become sharper, accessories grow more complicated, and each new generation promises more performance than the last. But every now and then something interesting appears that is not larger, not more complicated, but simply more logical and more useful. Meet the Godox AD100ProII. At first glance it looks almost disarmingly simple. In fact, it resembles a slightly oversized speedlight that decided to adopt the shape of a cylinder. It is roughly the size of a beverage can and weighs a little over half a kilogram. Yet, despite that modest appearance, this is not a typical hot shoe flash. It belongs to a different category entirely, a portable battery-powered studio strobe. Yes, let's give it the respect it deserves and not simply call it a flash. Before we go further, this strobe and its accessories were sent to me as a gift in exchange for my honest review. However, I only accept collaborations with products that I find genuinely interesting, and my opinions always remain entirely my own. My interest in this strobe was not only practical but also somewhat playful. One of the things I wanted to explore was its stroboscopic capability, the ability to fire many flashes during a single exposure and capture motion as a sequence of frozen moments. I have been fascinated by that idea ever since I encountered the work of Harold Edgerton, whose famous high-speed photographs revealed moments that the human eye could never perceive directly. Drops of milk forming elegant crowns, bullets passing through objects, fleeting instants of motion suddenly made visible. Ever since seeing those images, I have wanted to experiment with that kind of photography myself, and now I'm in a position to try it out. But before we attempt anything ambitious, let's look at the device itself. It comes very nicely packaged. The durable carrying case feels premium and professional. A nice way to store the flash or carry it in your backpack. Inside the package you'll find the instruction manual, nice and thin, which is always a good sign. Then of course the strobe itself, which feels solid and compact, not plasticky or hollow. There's also a powerful 2850 mAh lithium-ion battery that should make one charge good for close to 500 full power flashes. And of course the charging cable. A small mounting bracket is also included, functioning as an adjustable clamp that allows the flash to be fixed to stands or poles. It's nice that the kit also includes an adapter. So often these days this is omitted. Overall this case feels like professional quality. Great for protecting and organizing your gear. The AD100ProII is a 100 watt second flash unit. That indicates how much energy the flash capacitor can release in a single burst of light. It offers substantially more output than most small flashes, while remaining far more portable than traditional studio equipment. Recycling times are negligible at partial power and up to about 1.5 seconds at full power. Power can be adjusted across 9 stops from full output down to 1/256th of full power, and in 0.1 stop increments if so selected in the menu. So it is powerful enough to shape daylight outdoors, yet subtle enough for close-up subjects where only a hint of illumination is required. The battery slides into the body of the unit. It locks into place with a click and can be removed by pressing a small release button. Charging itself has become simpler than in earlier designs. The battery includes a USB-C port, allowing it to be connected directly to a charger or power bank without the need for a separate charging cradle. Physically mounting the strobe is straightforward. It includes a standard tripod thread, so the unit can be attached directly to most tripods or light stands. In practice, this type of flash is rarely mounted on the camera itself. It is designed primarily for off-camera lighting. Control is normally handled through the Godox X wireless system, a radio-based triggering system that allows the flash to communicate with a transmitter mounted on the camera. Through this system, photographers can adjust power levels, change modes, and organize multiple lights into groups from a distance. I have a Godox TTL wireless trigger X3Pro for this strobe. For the Fuji system, my version is the F version. It is very straightforward to use. Simply choose your flash and adjust its mode, power, and whether it should fire. You can seamlessly control different flash units, and it even has a single pin mode for older equipment or other brands. Here the camera is Nikon, but still the Godox X3Pro wireless system designed for Fuji can control the Godox AD100ProII in manual mode no problem. The X3 Pro also has TCM support. That allows you to take an initial shot using TTL or through the lens metering and then instantly lock these calculated power settings into manual mode. I will review this controller separately, so please stay tuned. By the way, as an alternative, I also use the Godox iFlash IT30 Pro. It combines a small flash with a very capable radio transmitter and receiver, so it can control other Godox flashes and also perform stroboscopic photography itself. It happens to be my most recommended item that Godox makes, because of the long list of things it can do. I have linked my review of it below. Turning the strobe on reveals a bright full color display. The screen is clear and easy to read, even outdoors. Navigation is handled through a small set of buttons and rotating control wheel. The logic of the interface is refreshingly straightforward. The wheel changes values, pressing it confirms a selection, and the surrounding buttons give quick access to the main functions. The strobe operates in three primary modes: manual, TTL, and multi. Manual mode offers complete control over flash power and is often preferred when lighting conditions remain stable. TTL, or through the lens metering, allows the camera to measure the scene and instruct the flash to emit the appropriate amount of light automatically. The third mode is the one that captured my attention the most. In multi-mode, sometimes called stroboscopic mode, the flash can fire repeatedly during a single exposure. Instead of a single burst of light freezing one instant, many flashes occur in rapid succession, each one illuminating a slightly different moment in time. By adjusting the number of flashes and the frequency at which they occur, the photographer can record motion as a sequence of positions within a single frame. The flash frequency is measured in Hertz, which simply means flashes per second. At very low power settings, the AD100ProII can do up to 90 flashes per second, although the exact number depends on the selected power level and the length of exposure. Lower flash power allows for faster recycling times between pulses, which makes rapid sequences possible. Another feature worth mentioning is high-speed sync, or HSS. Under normal circumstances, cameras can only synchronize with a flash up to a certain shutter speed, which is typically around 1/200th of a second. High-speed sync changes that limitation by allowing the flash to operate at shutter speeds as fast as 1/8000th of a second. This capability makes it possible to photograph subjects outdoors with wide apertures while still controlling the light on the subject. You are free to use the most appropriate shutter speed. So in broad daylight you can achieve strong background blur and still control exposure using flash. A small LED modeling light is integrated into the head as well. With several brightness levels, it can be used to preview the direction of light and shadow before taking a shot. It also helps with focusing and composition in dim environments. The unit includes a cooling fan that activates when needed to prevent overheating. Here is what it sounds like. A bit like a miniature hairdryer. The strobe also offers a menu that allows you to fine-tune many additional settings. Examples include HSS, standby, delay, and reset, all relatively easy to understand. Going through all these options will probably not be interesting right now, so instead I'm showing you a page from the manual that highlights the main capabilities and features. Please feel free to pause the video to study the details. Instead of a rectangular head, the AD100ProII uses a circular design. This produces a more symmetrical beam of light and tends to fill modifiers more evenly. The round head also supports Godox's magnetic accessory system. I have a kit that includes a range of useful accessories. My favorite is the barn doors modifier. which allows you to direct and shape the light very precisely. There are also various filter options for different situations, including colored gels to change the tone of the light. There is also a small translucent dome diffuser that spreads the light in many directions and softens it. This helps create more even illumination and can work well for portraits. A black rubber focusing cone allows you to accurately focus the flash where it needs to focus. This is really useful for close-up photography. All of these accessories attach magnetically, no screwing, no wasted time. You can even stack them if needed. Just make sure you don't wear an automatic watch too close to these powerful magnets. The kit also comes in a compact suitcase-like case, making it easy to transport. All of these features place the AD100ProII in an interesting position. It is small enough to travel easily, yet it belongs to the broader Godox wireless ecosystem, meaning it can work alongside larger studio strobes in more complex lighting setups. A photographer might carry one or two of these lights for location work and then integrate them with more powerful units when needed. Of course, specifications alone never tell the full story. Let's explore how this tool behaves in practice. First, a daylight power test. Can the flash illuminate this tree against the bright sunlight right behind it? At full power and about 10 meters away, I was pleased to see that the tree became sufficiently illuminated. Here's a high-speed sync demonstration. This photo was taken at f2.8 and shutter speed was 1/4000. This is far above the normal sync limit. Because of the very fast shutter speed, the sky appears darker and more dramatic. Achieving this effect requires HSS, or if you don't have HSS, you need a neutral density filter. Multi-flash demonstration. We already talked about it, but I want to do it again because it's so much fun. To visualize this, we need a dark background. I set the frequency to 40 Hz and the number of pulses to 14 and kept the shutter open for an entire second. With these settings, I photographed a dripping faucet. You can see how the shape of the water droplet changes as it moves. I find this fascinating. I will produce a separate video focusing entirely on this feature. Then flash uniformity, or how uniform is the flash. I photographed the ceiling from 1 meter away using a 12mm Samyang lens. The strobe lets you choose coverage between 28 and 85mm equivalent. I switched the strobe to 28mm, but the lens was 12mm. So this is a stress test rather than a normal test. I measured the brightness fall off using my own tool, and the relevant link is provided for you under the video. At f4, the corners were 38% darker than the center. This is actually good. My newer Speedlight 752 showed a 55% difference. But with a dome diffuser attached and proper focal length, the difference dropped to 11% for the Godox AD100ProII, which is an excellent result, confirming highly uniform lighting. Let's look at the modifiers too. The barn doors style hood is particularly useful for controlling spill light. I use it almost every time I use this strobe. Colored filters produce visible differences in the scene. Take a look at these photos, all taken at 6500 kelvins, but using different colored filters. The dome diffuser softens the light, although the effect is subtle. I tend to use the dome diffuser quite a bit in my future projects, I'm sure. And the directional modifier allows very precise light placement. You have already seen my sample photos as I used in the water droplet example earlier. Lastly, you might wonder about limitations. I think the strobe performs very well for what it's designed to do. If I could change one thing, I would make it mountable directly on the camera like a small flash. But of course, that would require a different design and likely make it larger, losing some of its advantages that make it what it currently is. To summarize, I must admit I really like this Godox strobe. It offers a wide range of creative possibilities and I'm looking forward to exploring them further. I will continue testing it in different situations and share my findings in my future videos. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe and like. And if you have any questions about the equipment or technique, please leave a comment. I'll be happy to respond. See you soon. Goodbye.